There will be live feed spoilers in this video, so now is your chance to scroll on. Good Saturday morning. I did not do a normal overnight live feed update just because everyone kind of went to bed fairly early last night. Wasn't a ton to really give an update on. The whole evening was just like debriefs and digestions and point of view retellings of the whole nomination ceremony debacle. However, they did just pick the Power of Veto players for today's veto competition. So as a reminder, we have Lyric, Melody, and Jason, who have been nominated by Devin. So all of them will be playing. And then Barrett and Angela were both picked to play in the Power of Veto as well. Angela is currently still in her egg punishment costume. She's really struggling with the costume. So she's probably ecstatic that she gets to play in a competition, because my assumption would be that she doesn't have to wear that costume while competing. Might depend on the competition though, but the backyard has been closed. So it is some kind of a veto competition that will be taking place in the backyard. As a reminder as well, the actual overall plan for this week is to nominate Rome as a replacement nominee. So the fact that Rome didn't get chosen makes that plan seem more and more likely, especially since Barrett and Angela are aligned with Devon's and they know the whole plan. I am sure that if one of them is to come out with the veto, they will be willing to use the veto on someone that is currently on the block. So I think that we will see Rome hit the block this week. So he'll have to just rely on the blockbuster. But as of right now, that's really all I've got for you. We'll check back in after the veto competition today. Let's do a quick BB28 live feed midday check-in. So the players did participate in the Power Veto competition today, and Devon's, the current head of household, did win the Power Veto. Now, Lyric seems to think that that means that the veto is not going to be used at all. Currently, that is not the plan. Currently, the plan would be to use the Power of Veto on Melody more than likely, but there are a little bit of conversations that still need to be had with the Toolshed to like 100% lock that in. But I would say majority of the Toolshed thinks that the best decision is to use the veto on Melody and then nominate Rome in her place. Now, as far as the current voting scenario situation, I think that this is going to be a very interesting week for the Toolshed, because the portion of the Toolshed that is the crossovers and the portion that is red corner, they don't necessarily agree on strategically which way is the best to go about this vote. There's several of them. All of the crossover people are basically just like Jason or Rome, but more so Rome. Like if Rome is an option, Rome needs to go. But if it's like Jason and Lyric, then probably better for Jason to go. Over on the crossover side, they're just like Jason, and if it's Jason or if it's Rome and Lyric, then okay, we'll do Rome. So it'll be very interesting to see throughout the week kind of how those conversations go, what those how does that change the dynamic of the alliance. I don't know. I think that we might see a little bit of some tension start to build there, but we'll have to wait and see. I mean, these things always change. Like I said, Lyric thinks that the veto is not going to be used, but Rome is telling every single person he comes in contact with in the house currently that he knows that Devon's is going to use the Power of Veto on Melody and nominate him in his place, and that he's going to be really mad because Devon's looked him in his face and said he wouldn't see the block this week, which that did happen immediately after Devon's won HOH. That I included that in my video where I said that Devon's was our new HOH for the week. He had told Barrett first and then immediately told Rome. So that is true. He did tell him that. But okay, let's do a quick evening update, and then some things are kind of changing a little bit, so we'll get the full picture maybe tomorrow morning in the overnight update. As a reminder, today Devon's did win the Power of Veto. He had previously nominated Lyric, Melody, and Jason with the intention to renom Rome after the veto competition and everything was over. So earlier in the day, and the initial plan this week was that the veto would be used on Melody if someone won it that wasn't a nominee on the block and it was someone in the Toolshed Alliance. Lyric's been doing a lot of really interesting campaigning today, and hey, I'm not mad at it. Do what you gotta do to stay in the game. But she did finally, probably maybe about an hour ago, talk to Devins himself. She promised him that she will never ever nominate him. She said that she is here to play her own game. She doesn't want to be lumped in with Rome anymore, and she knows that she's on the block because of her connection to Rome. And so she's pushing for Devins to use the veto on her. Honestly, I was like, what are we doing here? There's no way Devins is buying this. But after she leaves the room, Devins is like, I definitely believe her over Melody, that she wouldn't come after me. I just don't think that that's true, but I also know that Melody is going to come after him anyway. Like, it's a total damned if you do, damned if you don't situation, but I'm waiting to see what the conversation with Dee is like. So far, he has talked to Haley and Chuck as well after he spoke to Lyric. They both also think it is best for him to remove Lyric. Dee is very suspicious of Drew right now, and I think that there's potential, depending on how things go, that she'll push for a Melody eviction to knock Drew down a little bit, and make sure that Drew stays on their side of the house. She's very, very suspicious of him right now. I think it is best for them to have Jason, Rome, and Lyric on the block. That way that trio is broken up in some way. There is a world where all three of them stay this week if Lyric has the veto used on her, and that would not be good. We'll see how things go tonight. Things are starting to kind of pick up with the gameplay talk, so if you want to tune into the feeds, now would probably be the time.